Hey guys, so I have a sad tale with all sorts of awesomeness to learn from. There we go. Hi. From the start of Isaiah 6. And the line that I'm going off of is the very first line, which is, "In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw in a vision, ... So off of "In the year that King Uzziah died," I have 3 pages of notes because, wow, what a tale to tell. So, first of all, King Uzziah, also known as Azariah, was king of the ancient kingdom of Judah. What's Judah? For those that don't know, well, that's the tribe that Yeshua came from. He took office at 16 years old and reigned for 52 years. But the first 24 years, he co-reigned with his father Amaziah. Now, this was from 783 to 742. That was his lifespan. And his reign marked the height of the Judea power. And let me tell you about his mom. His mom came from Jerusalem, and her name was Jecoliah, which means powerful or hath prevailed. And well, she's known, apart from her name, and apart from being from Jerusalem, she is known that it was her son that did which was right. Her son did that which was right in the sight of God. And she was also known that through her son that he prospered so long as he sought the Lord. You can find that in 2 Kings 15:34. And that tells you what type of mama she was. That her, along with dad was Amaziah, and that name means is strong or hath strength. These two parents raised a good kid. A kid that was known that while he followed the father, prospered. I mean, height of the Judea, the tribe of Judah's line where Jeshua came from. So those some good parents. That's some good teaching they did. Plus, his dad reigned with him for the first 24 years of his reign, because he came in at 16. Reigned for 52, but the first 24, his father was still by his side. His father was still teaching him and showing him the way. And his mom, to only be known in the Bible, and she was in multiple scriptures, but to only be known for having raised a good kid that led the tribe of Judah to have the most at its height. So what happened? Uzziah was doing great. 2 Chronicles 26:8 says that the Ammonites brought tribute to Uzziah, and his fame spread as far as the borders of Egypt because he became so powerful. He also built towers. This awesome kid brought up by awesome parents that actually kept track of him and led him in his reign till he was good and ready to reign proper. Well, he did reign proper. He built towers in Jerusalem, at the corner gate and at the valley gate and at the angle walls. He fortified them. He had a well-trained army that was always ready to go, that he provided very well for. He took care of his peeps. He took care of his hometown. He took care of protecting. He did what a king was supposed to do. He was good at his job. So what happened? Pride happened. He got prideful and tried to go into Solomon's temple and do the priest's job. The priest's job is they're sanctified to do their job, and it was just lighting incense. And he is the king, and he is badass, so what's the big deal? Well, the big deal was that wasn't his job. And the priest said, you can't do that, boss. That's not your job. And he flew into a rage. And right then and there, in that rage, he grew leprosy on his forehead. Right there in the temple, whatever part of the temple he was, or where he was trying to light incense. Just right there, leprosy just popped on in his forehead. To me, that I'm guessing that that's a spiritual significance too. Like he messed up his brain. He damaged his on the inside, you know, like he let rage and pride take over. Why? He was so good at his job. He was so well trained. He was so successful at it. He was meant to do it. Yet here he is trying to do another job, another person's job that he wasn't prepped for. Blew into a rage, and that leprosy up in his brain like that. Also, you know, anyone that had leprosy back then was separated for multiple reasons. And a lot of, you know, I heard Derek speak about leprosy being just also spiritually speaking a sign of, was it Derek or Jeff Doherty? I forget, but it was like just a spiritual leprosy of like separating yourself by, you know, separating yourself like in a good way would be sanctifying yourself for the Lord and choosing to do right, like we were talking about, and knowing your place and loving your place and taking responsibility for your place and you know, being separated for the Father. That's awesome. But he separated himself with his pride and his rage and trying to do business that wasn't his business to do. So for the rest of his reign, he ended up being separated because he had leprosy and because he messed up his reputation and because now people were afraid to go near him because they didn't want leprosy. So the rest of his reign, let's see, what did I put here? But prideful and tried to do the priest's job in the temple, and when the priest told him that he wasn't consecrated to do that, that he was being unfaithful to the Father by doing so, he went all into a rage, got leprosy on his forehead, and right then and there, and he had to be separated from his life. He couldn't do his job no more. And his son had to take over for him because he wasn't but unfortunately his son wasn't as good as his father. Not yet. Maybe he would have been. Maybe he totally would have been. All signs point to, if things had kept to the middle way of doing the right thing and you know, not trying to step out of what your mission is, what you're sanctified to do, what your mission is, you know, like maybe he could have raised his son to be a better king that could be as good at that job as he was, like his father had trained him to do and his mother had trained him to do. But because he wasn't as good as his father at his job, because he had to be separated from his father so he wouldn't get leprosy, he ended up kind of sucking at his job and try as he could. I mean, he was raised the same way, but being separated from dad and having that trauma of having to see dad do that and have that happen, it must have messed him up. And how do I know that messed him up? Because this son, whose name was very significant to the king Jotham, because he never entered into Solomon's temple during his entire reign and life after that. He refused to go into the temple. And now what did the first notes tell you? That as long as his dad had stuck to what he was supposed to do and was submissive to the father and did ask for the father, best time Judah kingdom ever had. But man, that wrong move caused him the rest of his reign to be prosperous, caused his son to step up when he was prepared to, didn't have his dad next to him to help him out, and he wasn't as strong as his dad. And his dad was there to watch it too, because in the last year of Uzziah's reign, right before he died, he had to see some dude named Pekah, P-A-K-A-H, Pekah, became king of Israel in the last year of Uzziah's reign. There's a lot to tell there. I hope you caught what I was dishing out. So there's your intro to Isaiah 6. Thought that was interesting. I hope you did too. I love you guys. See you tomorrow.